Autobots, bring me Shia LaBeouf. Where's Megan Fox? And roll out.
Sick.
Bring me Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Where's Megan Fox?
Just do it! So, alrighty then, my roll chums. It is I, Daniel. You may call me the pop culture dude, and I have been invited to an early screening of Transformers 1, the latest Paramount movie that released this brand new animated Transformers movie. So, got myself an Optimus Prime poster, got myself an Optimus Prime keychain, and I'm like, thank you very much, Paramount, for giving away these cool stuff. And for any Sonic fans that are watching, no, apparently I did not get the Keanu Reeves signed autograph of the Shadow the Hedgehog poster. Does look pretty cool, though. And I know it's for the Friday screenings, but I got other things to do, which is going to a Weezer concert. But anyway, just to get on topic, what are my thoughts on Transformers 1? So, I've watched this movie with my bro Gabriel. Subscribe to him if you're interested in his content. But either way, I am not really like the biggest Transformers fan like out there. Like, I don't consider myself as a diehard, but I am considering myself as a casual where I've seen all the live action movies. I see all the Michael Bay films, which I'm pretty mixed about it. I did like Bumblebee though, because character study stuff, the 80s stuff, I like Bumblebee, also like Haley Steinfeld as well. Rise of the Beast was aight, and 1986 movie, that's the peak Transformers where it came around when Transformers was, no pun intended, at its prime. So, we got this brand new animated movie that is directed by the guy who gave us Toy Story 4 that most people don't really like. And this movie is written by the same writers of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which some people don't really like as well. So, now that you cast Thor as Optimus Prime, Black Widow in the movie, and you got Keegan-Michael Key, you got Miles Morales' dad from the Spider-Verse movies voicing Megatron. What is so interesting for what Transformers 1 has to offer? Number one, it's animated, so that means there is no Shia LaBeouf, no Mark Wahlberg, no Haley Steinfeld, which I did not mind that, but the case in point is no humans taking over the spotlight of the Autobots or the Decepticons. It is 100% in their home planet in Cybertron, and this is technically an origin story of how Optimus Prime, aka Orion Pax, and D16, who becomes Megatron, were back then, we're best bros, we're buddies, until they become sworn enemies as you expected. So, best synopsis I could give out for Transformers 1. So, that being said, the animation, I wouldn't say it's Spider-Verse level, but it is really good, and it's very out of this world of how they create the world-building aspects of Cybertron, but also all of these Autobots, Transformers, and Decepticons roaming around the world. It looks really good. Like, literally, I mean, no pun intended, like, literally, they look very toyified, and given the fact that this is made by the same guy who directed Toy Story 4, and I'm like, no wonder Bumblebee starts running away like Woody, because, and let's not forget, Transformers sells the toys a lot because, Hasbro and the merchandise. So I think the animation is really good for what it is, and I honestly would say for someone who's not really like a big fan of Transformers, I would say Transformers 1 is easily the best Transformers movie of them all, because like I said, no Earth, no humans taking over the spotlight. It is 100% focusing on Optimus Prime and Megatron before they become sworn enemies, and we actually see the development comes through, and it actually makes us want to care to see like, oh, we actually want to see these bros as getting like along with each other and not be enemies. Like, it does give me like a little bit of a Woody and Buzz type of vibe because of the irony of the guy who made Toy Story 4. But either way, I definitely think the dynamics between Prime and Megatron is done so well. And I gotta say about the voice acting, like, even though Peter Cullen will ever be forever by saying, I am Optimus Prime.
I am Optimus Prime. There's more to them than meets the eye.
And I will be honest with you, even though we do get very nitpicky of saying like, oh great, celebrity voicing my favorite childhood cartoon character, like you got Chris Pratt voicing Garfield, you got Chris Evans voicing Buzz Lightyear, but now Hemsworth as, like, not being Thor this time, but as Optimus Prime, surprisingly convincing. Like, you could tell trying his best to not imitate the iconic voice of Peter Cullen for playing Optimus Prime, but however, he does a really good depiction of playing young Optimus Prime, and there's even some lines I'm like, alright Hemsworth, you're not phoning again, you're actually taking this seriously and bringing this character to life, so gotta respect that for Hemsworth.
It's time to show him we are more than meets the eye.
Transform and roll out!
So I feel like, in terms of voiceover performance, he was the standout next to Brian Tyree Henry, yeah, I think that's his name. The guy who voiced Miles Morales' dad in Spider-Verse movies. I definitely say, I mean, at first, he, like, as you expect, it sounds more like himself, but then when his arc where he becomes evil like Megatron, he delivered.
Decepticons, rise up!
And then Keegan-Michael Key, obviously, that dude is everywhere. He's funny as always for every voiceover stuff he's done. I mean, he's been in Toy Story 4 as Ducky, he's in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but then him as Bumblebee, it's pretty much just him being himself, but I do like some of the line deliveries where he's still like most of the jokes where he goes,
Badassatron. Badassatron.
which I will admit, sometimes it does become pretty funny. He does act like Donkey from the Shrek movies. Like, there's one moment where he keeps like talking and talking and talking, and they're like, "Can you just shut up for 5 minutes?" So basically, he's like that side comic relief character, since, you know, this is taking place like way before Bumblebee lose like his voice, and then he won't be able to speak, since, you know, this movie's a prequel. And speaking of other co-stars, Scarlett Johansson is in this as Alita, who's like the female lead Autobot, which obviously an Avengers reunion between Thor and Black Widow as Transformers in this movie. So I thought that was pretty nice.
It does have a nice ring to it.
And I gotta say, like, really good job with the main cast. And I like that throughout the plot they keep saying the word Matrix a lot, and then you literally got Lawrence Fishburne from the Matrix voicing one of the ancient Transformers back in the prime days of Cybertron. And of course you got other voiceovers like Steve Buscemi as Starscream, which I was not expecting that. You got John Hamm as Sentinel Prime. I feel like the voice cast definitely gives it all. The action sequences, even though, yes, people have their soft spot for the Michael Bay movies, but as usual, most Transformers movie gets you a little bit confused, like, wait, who's fighting who? I will say the stylized when they change to the vehicles and the shooting, everything in the planet Cybertron, it actually looks pretty good. And also the score, I forgot to talk about it. Brian Tyler, who's responsible for making music for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Iron Man 3, all the Fast and Furious movies. I know diehard Transformers fans were happy because he did the music for Transformers Prime, the TV series, and now he's doing it for this brand new animated movie. And to be honest, this movie does give me the vibe of the 80s cartoon and a little bit of the darker tone for Transformers Prime for those that are huge fans of the franchise. So they pay respects. Like, I think what this movie truly succeeds at, yes, this is definitely made for the fans, but at the exact same time, it doesn't alienate a new audience. Like, if there's a kid out there by saying, I want to get the Transformers, I feel like this movie, this origin story prequel, is the best way to go with it. And it reminds me that Paramount does the exact same thing with the last Ninja Turtles, like the last movie, Mutant Mayhem, you know what I'm talking about. And even the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, like, yes, they pay respects to these franchises that you grew up on, but at the exact same time, introduce a new generation of fans. So I think Paramount did a good job with that with this movie, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Ninja Turtles as well. But speaking of which, I wouldn't say this Transformers movie is on the same bar as the Spider-Verse movie by saying, oh, this is the Spider-Verse of the franchise. I definitely say it's more like TMNT Mutant Mayhem, where it's definitely like good when it comes to its animation and mostly better than most of the live action movies. So, but I still say, like, for someone who's not a diehard fan, this is the best one of them all. Which I will admit, this movie's not perfect. There are plenty of flaws to point out. Like, for instance, there are some cliche tropes that you see coming from the movie where it's like, yeah, I expected that plot twist to happen, or okay, that spot was pretty predictable. And even though I will say some jokes do land, some of them are pretty juvenile for the kids by saying, yeah, I mean, that joke did not hit me as hard as that one, but, you know, it's a family movie, so I don't expect, like, every single joke to laugh, because, you know, comedy's subjective. And I will admit, it's like, as much as I like the build-up between Optimus Prime and Megatron, where they become buddies to now sworn enemies as you expect it to be, I will admit it was a little bit rushed of how Megatron becomes evil at the very end, and then it just goes straight to the conflict between Prime and Megatron. But however, the final act, like, yes, the first act of the movie is lighthearted, but then it becomes dark. I don't mean like blood and gore like in your face, but what I'm saying is you see death, pretty much similar vibes like the 1986 movie where major Transformers character dies in the movie. Like, yes, there will be some casualties and brutality when it comes to like some certain characters in the film. So I gotta say, like, be out for that. So I will give respect to this movie. Like, you expect to be like just a juvenile kids Transformers movie, but no, it actually goes deeper to the lore. It goes deeper to the character development where the Transformers are at their prime, and the conflict between Prime and Megatron has been done really well. So that's what I'm saying. It's so funny. I mean, it's a no-brainer when an animated movie does much better than a live-action adaptation. So that's why I think Transformers 1 does a good job with it. However, even though this is basically an origin story, and they do have plans for sequels, or I guess so-called trilogy, which is why Paramount's been so confident of releasing this movie like very soon for early screenings, including for myself included. So if you want to see this movie, if you are a die-hard Transformers fan, go ahead and go see it for yourself. But if you're new to the franchise, you don't need to watch the live action movies or the cartoon. Maybe you might become a fan. Maybe you're like, well, I'm not really a fan of Transformers, but now I understand the lore and the aspect and the appeal for what makes the Transformers of what makes them so beloved for many decades, since 1984, which is crazy. So I definitely would recommend the movie for that aspect. There is a post-credit scene, which was kind of spoiled in the trailer, that if you do want this movie, this animated iteration of Transformers to continue, well, support the box office, just like y'all Sonic fans do the same thing with the Sonic movies. Like, if y'all see this movie in theaters, you most likely will get that sequel. You'll get that Cybertron war battle between Prime and Megatron with Autobots versus Decepticons. So you will get that once you show support. So Paramount shows their confidence of, yeah, we'll continue the live action movies like that Transformers G.I. Joe movie crossover, and if this movie goes well, which I believe it will get like future animated movies. So I will say this, like itty bitty flaws aside, I'm mostly surprised from the movie. So if I had to give a personal rating, I would give it a 8 out of 10, despite, you know, Michael Bay produced the movie because of his casual Bayisms in it. But for once, it's kind of refreshing just to take the backseat and just handle a guy that worked on a Pixar movie and go straight to Transformers. So that's all I have to say about my Transformers 1 review. I will stay tuned for more content, whether it's Weezer, Sonic 3, I don't even know. But however, if you're interested to see Transformers 1, what's your thoughts on it? Do you like Transformers? Let me know down in the comments below. And for those that leave your thoughts on the film, just let me know what you think about the movie. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this video. And just to sign off for this video, it's transform and roll out.
All Transformers, please report to the base.
It's morphin' time. Go, go, Power Ranger. The Morning Morphin Power Ranger. Shifting turbo.
All Transformers, this is a cold blue operation. Please out.
I am Optimus Prime. I say, oh, I got to get out of here.